Hey there, Rachel Cook here, founder of the Yogipreneur and creator of the Yogipreneur's Guide to Conscious Business Design with a little Mother's Day goodie for you guys this week. As you know, this week we're kind of honoring different moms out there in our community, especially moms who have been able to stay true to raising their family, honoring themselves and their practice, and rocking out an awesome conscious business at the same time. So today, joining us is my dear, dear friend, Amy Whitmire, who's my blissful goddess mama. And Amy and I met each other a few months ago now, and it was just instant kindred spirits. We ended up the whole conversation talking about our kids and how we are raising them, and I was just loving this woman so much because we share so much in common in our mama philosophy and what we hope to also contribute to the world through our business. So, hey Amy, thanks so much for joining me tonight.
My absolute pleasure, Rachel. I couldn't be happier to be here, and I love that intro because it's so true. It's so absolutely true.
Oh, you're such a sweetheart. Well, you know, I invited you to do this little interview with me because you've been on the journey of motherhood for quite a while longer than me. I believe your son's 11 this year, right?
That is correct.
So you've got a whole decade of experience on me right now, which is kind of nice because I can pick your brain when I need some help. And you also have have had a successful career as a yoga teacher, holistic healer, wellness professional, all of these different modalities. And I really wanted to hear kind of what was your journey to going from being a yogipreneur to a mamapreneur. How did this all come to be for you?
Such a great question. They're actually very consciously designed. I had a career before this career in the visual arts, and I was wanting and planning to bring a baby into the world, bring my child into the world. And so I strategically brought in, I'm like, what's the word? Timed my shift from working in the visual arts to becoming a yoga teacher at the same time that I knew I was going to be bringing in my baby. Mm-hmm. So it was a very conscious idea, knowing that that was a career that I could adapt to the lifestyle of wanting to be, 200% hands-on, raising my baby who pretty much couldn't be put down for the first 2 years of his life. So I've managed to pull off teaching, and very often teaching with him in my arms, believe it or not, in a sling sometimes. But so it was a very conscious design, and it's working. It's really working still a decade later.
Awesome. That's so incredible. And, you know, as you said, you remember teaching with him in the sling. I think, gosh, thank goodness my kids let me put them down if I had to carry twins while teaching a yoga class. Actually, those evenings where I was teaching when they were about 6 months old were my favorite because it was one of the few times I wasn't carrying them around. But it's true. Moms have to be creative. I mean, we have to do what we have to do. And the great thing is often we find ourselves surrounded by other people who just love that about it. You know, they're there to support you, and they probably loved seeing him when he was that little, all snuggled up in your chest.
Yes, it brought out a lot of cooing from my students, and I obviously taught a lot of postnatal, so there are other babies there, and I would be by shavasana or by meditation, I'd have like 6 babies in my lap, and I'd be bouncing my own and managing a few others, and it's like, again, the essence of this conversation is about how do we do it as mothers, and it couldn't be a better marriage of the two things that I love to do most, being there for my family and showing the world, their greatest gifts.
That's so great. I can just imagine you with like this pile of babies just smothering you and all their little love. Oh, so sweet. So what's been the greatest challenge for you in raising, your son and also managing a business?
Well, whether it was his nurture or his nature, my son is incredibly patient and understanding. So that, on that end, that works out great. His needs, he's usually very patient, like right now. He's very patient to know that it's, 6 o'clock my time and dinner's supposed to be on the table, but my family's, accommodating for that in the most beautiful of ways. The more challenging is really getting the mama brain to shift into the mamapreneur brain. So regardless of your child being high maintenance or not, like I said, mine's just very low maintenance, but I think it's shifting out of that mama brain and thinking about the sort of primal, when you're working on that primal level, I find mothers to be very instinctual and possibly very right-brained, perhaps. And then needing to shift and kind of get into the business, not so much what I'm teaching per se, but the amount of time that I spend on my business that takes a real analytical mind. Really have to shift it all around. So that's probably one of my biggest challenges, which I've, in the last few years, made that bridge. We can talk more about that perhaps as you cue me for that one.
Yeah, I totally can relate because being a mom, like you said, it is very instinctual, and I think being in the healing world or in the yoga community, that's very instinctual for a lot of us too. Like, it's just part of our nature, and it makes it really easy. But it's the business side, it is very much flipping that switch to where you have to plan and you have to organize and you have to think for the future and really have a lot of strategies in your back pocket just to keep things going. So for sure, I can relate to that a lot. And I found just learning how to be really present in whatever you're doing, you know, that's my key. Is when I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids, and that's it. But if I'm working on business and I have to remember that everything I'm working on ultimately is for my kids, you know, I'm putting them through school at some point in the future, keeping a roof over their heads. So I know that I need to focus on it 1,000% when I'm focused on it, so that I don't have to freak out about it or worry about it later on. So totally.
I think that it's hugely critical and incredibly insightful, because being able to be present is essentially our practice for everything that we do. And, you know, one of the most important things we could do, but not the easiest by any means, is to be 100% present with whomever or whatever you're doing. So I think that's spot on.
Totally.
And, you know, go ahead.
I was just going to say, absolutely. I find, you know, I was talking to another teacher the other day, and I was like, you know, yoga is everything. Yoga, it's not just on the mat. You find it as a mom, because your kids are constantly challenging you to be present, to be in the moment, to be there with them. And they're so good at it. You ever noticed how kids, like, they just are always in that state of 100% in the moment. They don't worry about the future or the past or anything. It's just, they're right there. And it's just incredible. And you know, business is the same way, because it challenges you to stay in the moment, to stay present, to not get distracted, so that you can, you know, manifest what you're trying to manifest. So it's incredible how it really comes through all areas of your life. It's incredible to me.
I love that that point, because it's so true. I in many like super silly examples of how yoga truly helps us be present for everything. I have probably never played much baseball in my life. It's just not my background. And a couple of years ago, there was a big group gathering, and they were playing, and then, come on, Amy, let's play. And I was like, no, I don't even know what a baseball bat is, much less how to hit one. And so talk about being present. So everybody's like, come on, you can't not play. So again, very silly example, but perfect example in that I just got really present, sort of focused in, analyzed what was going on, stepped up to bat, was the only one that hit home run after home run after home run. And everybody's like, what is this woman talking about? You never played baseball before? I said, no, but I'm a yogi, and therefore I have, you know, coordination and the skill and the ability just to really focus and execute. So, I mean, I think to hear it in business and baseball, there you go.
It applies everywhere. Like, yoga is everything. It's incredible. Oh, I love that. I love that. That is awesome. So for you, this entire journey where you've been raising your son, you've been, you know, doing your work as a business owner, yoga teacher, all the other things you have going on, what's been the greatest reward for you coming out of it? What's been the thing that just makes you light up when you think about what you've been able to achieve in the last, you know, 10 years of having a child and even longer doing what you do?
Another great question. What comes to mind is my feeling, you said lit up, and right now just even the thought of kind of heats me up, is being true to myself. And when I have worked for other people, and I have, it's always been very clear, and even clear to my employees, how I have a very strong, and it's not that I try, it's just who I am, a very strong path and mission. And so being a entrepreneur and a mamapreneur, this is just my perfect, I don't know, seat, whatever you want to call it. But so being a mother has been the greatest joy, and it's something that I planned since I was a little girl, and, you know, down to my birth being the most awesome birth, and just the way I'm raising him, and he shows me that it's working. And so being a mamapreneur, an entrepreneur, lights me up most because I can show the world who I am, show my gifts, inspire others to find their gifts, inspire others to show the world who they are, inspire other moms that they can run a business and raise their kids. So I feel, for lack of a better way to describe that, that I'm in alignment with my true gifts, and that I can do that, and I can continue doing that for others. So it's a really interesting role to be in when we look at careers and people's paths.
Yeah.
So the truer, you know, it's like the more authentic I am, and the truer I am, and the clearer I am to me, gives me strength to then professionally, I mean, share it professionally. It's like I'm basically guiding other people to find their true nature. So how freaking cool is that? Like,
that's
what's your
awesome.
job?
Yeah.
My job is to find my true nature and find your true nature. It's like, you know, that's essentially what it is in my long-winded way of speaking. But
no, that's incredible. I totally, like, 1,000% agree that. And the other piece for me too is the more I'm able to creatively contribute, which is what I consider my business, right? It's my creative expression. So the more I'm able to contribute in that kind of creative way and share some passions and talents of mine, when I turn around and I'm back with my kids, I'm so much of a better mom. You know, and that's another passion and talent. I think some of us were just born to be moms. Like, that's just, like you said, you've been planning it forever. I've always been a mom. I know, like, I was a little kid who was everybody's mom. So it's just part of the journey, right? It's like, it's another expression of your talent, your passion, and your, you know, your destiny, what you were meant to do. Totally. Awesome.
I love that. I love that you just shared that bit, Rachel, because that's totally me. I've been babysitting since I'm 5, and, you know, always had kids in my life. So this is that's awesome to hear another mom say that. You know,
yeah. I totally. My younger sisters, I was like 4 and changing their diapers and, you know, handling them and taking care of them. And yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like I have my own children who are 1, but my sister, who's 25, is kind of my kid too.
I totally get that.
Yeah, totally. So, you know, looking back on your journey so far, what advice would you give to someone else, or even yourself, you know, 10 years ago, who is kind of looking at family is so important to them. It's like the biggest priority in their life. They want to have a family, but they also don't want to be like locked down to that job. You know they have a contribution, they have a passion, they have some talent, they have creative things they want to share. What would you turn around and tell them, you know, their greatest piece of advice you could give them to give them that little nudge so that they go for it?
Awesome. Well, 10 years ago, I didn't have very many role models for what I was doing. And again, no secret to me, but I've always been quite the sort of renegade in the sense of always up to something without much of a model. So now, a decade later, I'm finding people like you, Rachel, a conscious business coach, which is like, you know, the greatest gift to someone like me that I could ever have asked for. So if I had to give any advice, it would be to seek out someone like you, and perhaps, you know, you cover my industry and then some. So yogis, whether you're an instructor or a studio owner, holistic practitioner, wellness practitioners, I think that what makes an individual strong at their craft is not always the same strength to wrap their mind around the skill sets that they need to run their business. So
Totally.
I have taken
totally, yeah.
I've taken a long time to do what could have taken a short time had I had a coach 10 years ago. But I've had over the last year or so some interesting coaches, and yourself included, that have absolutely shed incredible light on what I'm up to, where I am, where I've been, where I want to go, and how to get there. And that is huge. And in addition, I will say that some of us, depending on how you're wired, could think that I'm going to do this all myself. I can figure it out, I can figure it out, I can figure it out. And You know what? A lot of you might be able to figure it out, but it might also take you twice as long. And if your goal is to spend quality time with your family, you might want to delegate some of those tasks and take on. And I think that more than that, it's really support. And it's critical that people that are solopreneurs get the support that they need. So
yeah, and I think that's really important, because a lot of us start off, we're like, okay, we're going to start our own business, we're going to do our own thing, and we don't put a support system in place. And that's been the greatest gift to me, is I have a huge support system, but I had to go out and ask for them. I knew I needed to be able to delegate things, so I found you, and you've been helping me in a lot of ways. I have, an intern who's helping me out. All the little things that really aren't my talent or that aren't where I shine, I find help, so that the time I'm working in my business is where I'm absolutely on. I'm just totally in flow, totally making things happen. And that way it frees up so much time for me to be with my family, which is so important.
And that's it in a nutshell. You were much more direct with that. That's it in a nutshell, because I can't tell you how many times in the evening I'm still dragging myself through painless work that I don't know anything about, but I'm going to just, muscle myself through, when my child really wants to be with me and show me this little, piece of lint that he found, and I want to be there for that piece of lint, So
totally.
Support is huge. And I know a lot of people get this single-minded idea when they're solopreneurs that they don't need support, but support is critical. And there is a new generation like yourself of incredibly savvy, slick, highly energetic, highly skilled, wonderful, beautiful beings.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I would just say, any other mamas out there, get your support system. And if your support system is a babysitter for a couple hours a week, get that. If it's a housekeeper so you don't have to do laundry, line them up. If it's somebody to cut the grass so that your weekend isn't spent outside doing yard work, which I hate, and I finally convinced my husband that it was okay to hire someone to cut the grass.
There you go.
And you know what? We ended up with that freed up like 4 hours of a weekend day, which is, one of the few days our whole family gets together. And it's really thinking, to me, looking at times like that and going, well, what's more important? That we fill our plate up with busy work, or that we do what we love and surround ourselves with a support system that allows us to focus on that. Totally. Awesome.
Absolutely. That's phenomenal.
Awesome. Well, before we wrap up, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew, especially people in your area, Amy has some incredible stuff coming up. We've been working on some awesome things for her. So if you happen to be in her neck of the woods, let me tell you, you have to get in front of this woman, because she will just change your entire life. So Amy, give them a little bit of a rundown on what we've been cooking up and how they can find you.
All right. Well, thank you for that intro. That was awesome, Rachel. You can find my website is amysbliss.com, amysbliss.com, and you can find your bliss there by attending my various classes and workshops. But one that's coming up that's really fun, it's right after Mother's Day on May 15th. It's called Invite Your Goddess Out to Play. And it's a very unique workshop in which I'm blending what I have called Bliss Dance, which is a very sort of deconstructed dance class in which you are not following steps and you are absolutely inspired and enlivened to find your own free flow. And I have all kinds of awesome accessories, including belly dance jingle skirts, which are a personal favorite of mine. I wear them around the house on a daily basis. It makes the mundane much sexier, which is really fun.
Oh, that is so fun. I have to do that.
Yes. Little tip is if you're ever feeling a little drab or uninspired, just do the mundane with a belly dance skirt on, and you can't believe how you can transform.
Awesome.
And awesome. So that workshop is coming up, like I said, May 15th, 1 to 3 p.m. at Baker Street Yoga in Maplewood, New Jersey. And I'm offering a couple of specials. If you register before or by May 1st, you can enjoy the workshop with a 2-for-1 special. So you can bring your friend or your sister or your mother or maybe your grandmother.
What a great mom and me place to go for that weekend. Oh, how fun.
It's mom and me. It's a mom and me. And so I kind of asked the question, like, how are you going to honor and celebrate yourself on Mother's Day? So invite your goddess out to play. It's a lot of fun. And also for those that are taking advantage of that early bird special, the 2-for-1, I have some other surprise little specialty gifts that will be included. Not material gifts, not to be confused. Special privileges, upcoming series.
That's awesome. Well, everybody, if you're around her area, you guys need to totally jump on her website, amysbliss.com. I'll put a little link up here in the video somewhere, so that you can go get all the details about letting your goddess out to play, and grab your mom, grab a girlfriend, whoever you think just needs to really get in touch with their inner goddess. It's going to be a blast. I wish I was able to come up there just to hang out for the day. That'd be so much fun. Well, thank you, Amy, for joining me today. This has been a lot of fun, and everybody go ahead and look in your inbox for the next upcoming little clip from our little Mother's Day interview series. We've got more goodies lined up for you for the rest of the week. And thanks so much. Talk to y'all soon.
Thank you.
Namaste, Mama.
Stay.
Mwah. Bye.